This is going to be episode 1 of only one episode. That's it. This is the journey. This is the conversation that we're about to have with the man of the hour. My name is Taylor Ramsey, and I'm about to introduce this gentleman right here. I got my handy dandy notebook. This is a man of God, a mighty man of God, a faithful and honorable husband, a great and amazing father.
Come on.
A son, a brother. That's church boy.
Come on.
Is a pastor, a minister, a worship leader, a dance extraordinaire.
Fact.
He should be in the Hall of Name of name changes. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He is an open book. He is a lover of people. He should have many Dove Awards, but he doesn't have them yet. This is Mr. Find It, Live It, Love It, the Gospel. Mr. Know Your Word.
Yeah.
Mr. Too Many Names to Mention.
Yeah.
The one and only Justin Goss.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Shannon Sharp ain't got nothing on me.
Tay. We gonna club Tay. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say that one again. We can say Club JJ. We gonna call this Club JJ.
Thank you, Tay. That was perfect.
Yes, man. This is almost 20 years.
Bro.
20-year relationship right here.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part right here. So before we even get into music, let's just talk about how we met. You know what I'm talking about? Grande Rica?
Grande Mac. You
know what
really?
I'm saying?
We really met in Spanish class for real. Like I seen you around school. We went to school together.
Don't look at them. Look at me.
No, I'm gonna look at them a little bit. Okay, I'll look at you. All right, let's talk about it. So we went to school together. We what was it? 10th grade. Well, you was in 10th grade. I was in 11th grade.
I think you're a year older than me.
Yeah. Yep. I graduated 06. You graduated 07.
Wait, it was 2 years, baby.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was a freshman.
Okay, so dang, that's crazy.
Yes.
So
That
was
means
it a
you
Spanish
were
one?
a little
No, it was
slow.
Spanish one. Chill. It was a Spanish one. Because you got to take 2 years of a foreign language.
Yes.
So we had Spanish one. We had Spanish one together, and you danced in a group called Triple Threat.
Triple Threat. T3T, baby.
What?
Go.
He was in a group called Triple Threat.
Yes.
And y'all was fired. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was the talk of the town, and I was new to the school, and I was trying to see what the vibe was. You know what I'm saying? You was teaching me choreography in class, telling the bros I was gonna come to the rehearsal. That was my introduction. But what was your introduction? Tell me.
Hey, no, this is all about you because my memory is trash. So the questions that I'm asking you, I probably really don't know the answers to.
Okay.
But no, I do remember that in particular, the project that we did and the Grande Rica, Grande Mac. We had to do this, and we in particular picked two of the smartest.
We picked two Spanish girls. We take
Maestra Brown did not like.
Oh my gosh, she didn't like me either.
I had her in middle school too. That was the funny part.
Dang.
I want to say that was Spanish too.
Yeah.
Because I took Spanish.
It was because you was in 10th grade.
Yeah, I took Spanish 1.
So it was my senior year then.
Yes.
It couldn't have been.
Had to be.
Yes, because then Antoine went to.
Because I know she didn't like me.
He went to the other school. Yes. No. He went to the other school.
He went to the other school. He did.
Shout out to Twan.
His choice.
Yeah.
His choice, baby. You making it right now.
Yeah. Hey, baby. Hey.
I'm trying to make it to his dance camp. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right. Facts. We trying to get to the retreat.
But you wanted to dance with us. I know that.
Facts.
But your church said that sin was a dance was a sin.
Yeah. I grew up in a church
on the low.
Yeah. I really wanted to dance. I love dance so much, you know. I did. It was like a part of my childhood. Love Michael Jackson. Was just like thought I was like the best dancer. I was always the best dancer at school. And when I got saved, my church was like, "Hey, you can't dance no more. Like it's a sin." And so I could never find anything biblically to back it up. But I just wanted to be faithful because I love my church. I wanted to serve, and they said in order to serve, you can't be doing this, doing that. Took my earrings out, like everything that they told me to do. And then I started asking questions. So that's when I really started to reach out and tap in with y'all because y'all was like dancing at church and doing stuff at Revival Center. I remember that. And Stove was dancing too. You know what I'm saying? He hit the bird. He got the best dance I ever seen. Shout out to Soldier Stove. You know what I mean? And so like I was like, I think he kind of put me hip onto y'all and like dancing. Y'all was having rehearsal at the church. I remember meeting Auntie Antoinette and the whole situation. And so yeah, they told me I couldn't dance, bro. So I was like, kept saying I was gonna come to rehearsal, and then was struggling because speaking to my youth leader, it was like, Justin, you can't be doing that hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And even though y'all was dancing to like some Christian music or whatever, and some just beats. Was y'all dancing Christian music, Jay?
We did. That's how we started before Triple Threat. That's how we started. It was like almost a praise dance team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't got time. It's about your show journey.
Yeah. So that's how I was tapped in. But my little dreams was killed by my church, and I just was like, all right, I guess we're not dancing. You know what I'm saying? But I always was number one groupie. You feel me? At every event, I'm driving, I'm there. I wanted to be a part of everything. So if I wasn't gonna be in the group, I was gonna be a mascot, and I didn't care. I didn't have no pride in it. Like I was a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And I was gonna flex my way into every single thing y'all was doing.
And almost 20 years later, we still rocking.
Still rocking.
So I'm solidified.
Come on now,
Anybody that was asking like who this light skinned dude?
Yeah.
Solidified.
On God.
But let's get into it when it comes to music. Let's get straight into the beginning. Where did you what got you started into music?
Well, like honestly, as a kid, like I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a dancer. Like everything. Yeah, drink some of that water, baby. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a dancer. Like it was just like I don't know. It was like natural. And so like my first favorite singer was Michael Jackson. Like watching the moonwalk, I was like, oh my goodness. And I'm kind of like rethinking about this, right? Because I always think of like my favorite singers and favorite artists when I was later. But as a kid, bro, I wanted to moonwalk. And shout out to my boy Tony Jackson Jr. He was a drummer at my church when I was little, and he taught me how to do the moonwalk. And it took us, I was like 7 years old, and he was like, no, you slide, step, slide, step, slide, step. And I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah. Then I was able to do it. I could do the moonwalk on a dirt field. I could do the moonwalk anywhere. Yeah, on God, bro. My calf muscles was calfing, you know what I'm saying? And so like Michael Jackson was my first inspiration. There was this movie called Electric Boogaloo, or with I think it's called Electric Boogaloo. But yeah, it was my favorite movie until my cousin Brandon, because I used to watch it every day, and it was pop locking in that thing, and he threw the VHS outside. He's a hater. Shout out to my cousin Brandon, you're a hater. But anyway, hated on me, hated on my praise. And but yeah, Michael Jackson, like honestly, to make a long story short, Michael Jackson was my initial like inspiration. You know what I'm saying? And then it got to like Bobby Brown. He was that guy, right? Big grinding vibes on stage. But to be honest,
kind of weird that you just highlighted his grind.
I know, but that was his vibe. He was the bad boy, right? And so like for me, I wanted to be like, I wanted to kind of be tough. All my cousins was like tough, and so like I kind of was like I was rocking with that because he was still like really really singing. Also like Casey and JoJo. But to be honest, even as hood as I wanted to be, my favorite artist as a kid and to this day was Kirk Franklin. Like, no doubt about it. When the first time I heard Stomp in 1995, are you kidding me? Like I lost my mind. Especially because like I kind of wanted to be in church, but it's like he made church cool. Like he made like going to church cool. So I would say Michael Jackson and Kirk, hands down.
Got you. Okay, that kind of adds up and leads into this next question.
Yeah.
You came out with the music going by the name Jesus Geek.
Yeah.
The first name. The man of many names. But Jesus Geek.
Jesus Geek.
Bow tie killer.
Oh God! And I thought the name was fire. But let's not try to roast like you didn't like my name.
I mean, hey. I mean, I didn't get it put in the back of my head like you did.
Look. Taylor. You was the one. You put the battery in my back. You did every graphic. You did you did all of the editing. So, but Jesus Geek came from. I had when I first got saved, and that's a whole long story. But I won't dive. I'll say that for another time. But when I first got saved, I remember I was holding Bible studies at the mall. Okay. And I would wear a full suit. I had my bro, he's like my adjutant, right? He'd hold my Bible, give me some water, right? And I'm like,
service.
I'm right. I'm like 15 years old. And I remember teaching, and I was talking about like how everybody needs to take their earrings out and you going to hell. Like that's the kind of church I grew up in, right? And so I was like, you going to hell, you gotta take your earrings out. You know, if you're a girl, you can't wear no tongue ring. I'm just like telling everybody to take your rings off. We can't play sports no more. And this is like first saved, the most annoying saved version of myself. And I remember Pastor Ricky Nutt, he was sitting at the mall and he's listening to me.
Is Papa Nutt?
Yeah, Papa, right? So he's like sitting there listening to me, and he was like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm preaching. You feel me? Like I got a full suit on, right, Tay? Look, I'm 15 with a suit on. I'm like, yeah, OG, he giving it up. I don't know who he is, right? I don't know who this guy is. So then he walks up to me, and this is like really a part of like my actual faith journey. This is a big moment. He walks up to me, and he's like, hey, he was like, man, that was good. Some of that stuff you said was good. And in my head, I'm like, some of the stuff what you talking about, boy, I was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'll sign your Bible, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really thought, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was killing. And he was like, you know, that stuff's not in the Bible though, right? Some of the stuff you saying, right? And I was like, huh? And he was like, man, you gotta study your word. The Bible says study your word, show yourself approval. And I was like, what is you, Baptist? Right? I instantly bugged up on him, and he was like, what is you, Church of God in Christ? And I was like, yeah, right? Yeah, he got me, right? Because he grew up Church of God in Christ.
That's how he
Yeah, and so he was like, man, go look in your word and ask your pastor. Don't be disrespectful. Ask your pastors and ask your youth pastors. Ask them some questions. And so when I started to do that, I started to dive in. I remember I started talking to some people at school, like, oh, we not doing that no more. We off that. We ain't worried about that. That's not a sin. That's whatever, permissible will. And I started getting all deep. And he was like, oh, you think you're some sort of Jesus geek? And I'm like, ooh, that kind of goes crazy.
I'm sticking with it.
I was like, bro. So that was when I was younger, and I just felt like when I was starting to do music, that is like, yeah, like I'm going Jesus geek. Like I felt like that fit where I was as a young man, like digging into my word, having challenging conversations with my leadership. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be. I started becoming a place. Excuse me. I got to a place where I felt like I was so spiritual that I just, you know, that I was no earthly good. And so like I started to like really learn. And then it set with me so well, like that I receive it. Like that's who I am. I'm a Jesus geek, and I don't care what nobody says. I'm unapologetic about my faith. Yeah. And like school, here we come. So I started a Bible study at the school. I started the first a Bible study at Fairfield High, and then when I went to Rodriguez, I had one too. So
super dope. Dope. So start making music.
Yeah.
Did your first photo shoot. Shout out to your photographer.
Royalty Visions. Yeah. Talk that talk.
Probably the best photographer out there.
Facts.
Did your graphics. The first album.
Yeah.
The graphics were horrible. After that. Really horrible graphics.
It was
photos
cool.
were fire.
Yeah, photos was fire.
But horrible graphics by that guy. Don't hire him again. But by the way, I am the one that did the graphics.
Yeah, he's
so I can roast myself.
Absolutely the one.
I think I designed that on a Dell computer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was given Dell.
Yeah, it definitely gave off Dell vibes.
Yeah.
But you get into your first album, Paradox Experience.
Yes.
Obviously took you some time to get there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who produced it, how you formed that relationship, and just kind of how you kickstarted your music career, you could say.
Okay.
Paradox Experience.
All right, can I talk to my camera real quick? Yeah. I got to shout out Brandon Peavy, Black Knight.
Yes.
I could cry. He changed my life. I was a follower, and I wanted to I was trying to sing background for everybody. And he was like 15, 14 years old. Now I know him since he was like 8 or whatever, because his dad, John Peavy, is legit Bay Area legend. And his dad, his dad was a legend. So I known him. He played drums. And so I was leading worship at a church in Fairfield, and his pops would play keys sometime and have him play drums. And so one day after church, his dad was like, Uncle John was like, hey, you should hear Brandon, he make beats. And I'm like, okay. He makes beats, that's tight, right? Like, okay, right, let's shout out to that. And so then he was like, I'm gonna show you some stuff in the car, right? He was so nervous. He was like, oh, this is not mixed. He's like preferencing the whole conversation. And he plays My Beat Go Boom, 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 featuring Sean Carey. You know what it is, Sean. But anyway, Sean Dotson, you feel me? So he played me the track, and I was like, it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, oh my gosh. So his pops was like, hey, you should come out to the studio. I'm like, I'm broke. Can I get a few dollars? He's like, I got you, baby. Go out to the studio. Me and my wife and our 2 little kids at the time. And this is like, I've had studio experiences. I've been in the studio with like whatever rapper bros and freaking Shondell and all the homies from Fairfield, right? And I've also like been in whatever studio, you feel me? But this is the first time where it's like, hey, like, do you know what I mean? Do a little something, you feel me? So then he just like freestyle, and I'm like, you know, I'm with that. Let's go, right? So he puts on the track, and me and Asia are singing like, I wish I got died and he said we had some sort of like, and we was grooving, and Brandon, he looking at us, he had this little little desk, right, with these freaking mogul, like those little speakers you can get from Best Buy, and we were singing, me and Aisha, I was like, oh my goodness, like, I know how to make music, right? Because like I never was writing, and like I don't have that story. I was in high school writing songs for a girl. Like I wasn't doing that. Like I just was like, I wanted to be a background singer to keep it real. Like I'm like, man, I'm trying to sing background for Israel or freaking, you know what I mean? John B. Key. Can I be in or Ty Tribbett? Like I want to be in a choir and jumping and turning up or whatever. Because I was singing in choirs and all of that stuff. And so I got in the studio and I just was like, oh, this is for real. So we drove back home and we listened to that song over and over and over. And my wife was looking at me like, oh my gosh, this is like actually so good. And I'm like, this little kid then like gave me a confidence in something that I would have never done. And and like I said, I've been in the studio before, but this is like, hey, let's see what you can do. You know what I mean? And shout out to Uncle John for like even believing in me enough to say like, you should work with Brandon, knowing that his son is fire, right? That maybe nobody knew because nobody did know, right? But he fire, right? And so that's who produced the project. I was buying beats online. Shout out to Soldier Stowe again. It was this beat website called 99centbeats.com. And it was 99 cents.
Heck of beats with heck of tags in the middle.
Yeah, it was purchase your tracks today, right? And so I got beats from there, and Brandon did like the whole thing, like just mixing and mastering. He was so high, played live drums on a bunch of this stuff, and so that's where I got my first start. Taylor, you always believed in me in every way from the beginning, right? And like it was training ground for you and me, but you like took it so serious. I remember wearing all your clothes and your shoes for the photo shoot. Yeah. I had them ones. Was it Christmas?
There's them red and green ones.
Yes, bro. Them
still got it.
Still got them. Right. Taylor got all the shoes. I'm jealous, but whatever. No. So I remember like you taking me like so serious and just like, bro, this is dope. Like it's fire. You know what I'm saying? And the Paradox experience was just that. And I can't leave out my brother Joey. So it was Jesus Geek, but it was Jesus Geeks because I had my boy Joey. My wife was kind of honorary member. You feel me? Yep. She didn't last long in the group. Shout out to my wife. She kind of got kicked out. You know what I'm saying? But it was me and Joey, so we were the Jesus Geeks. But yeah, so
dope. Yeah. So Paradox Experience comes about. And that, you got Rockin' My Way to Heaven. That's probably one of my favorite tracks out of that album.
Yeah.
And you did it twice.
Yes,
we're going to talk about that in a minute. So when you first started making this album and going into music, you did a lot of rapping.
Yes.
You did some singing with some auto-tune.
Yes.
So what?
Very, very much auto-tune.
So when we get into the rapping, we get into the singing, and then here comes Bibles in the Air.
Yes.
We got to talk about it. Because it went viral.
Yes,
it did. Legit Bibles in the Air went viral.
Yeah, it did.
And it came with a lot of controversy.
Yes, it did. A lot of controversy.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Well, praise God.
Because that's going to transition next.
Yeah, we bless God. Okay, so we released Bibles in the Air. I heard the initial version after we did it, and somebody sent me a message on Facebook like, "Hey, bro, because we was performing it already, you feel me? And it was going crazy. Bibles in it. I had a terrible verse, but we bless God, right? And so
it was fire. It was a real hype song though.
Yeah, it was.
Legit, it was a song to perform to.
Real talk, the beat made it, right? And the hook, right? And so then I heard it right before, and so Brandon was gonna call it remix because that's initially what it was.
Okay.
But when he released it, he forgot or whatever the case may be, right? I didn't upload it. You feel me? And so right away, I never forget getting the call in the morning with Brandon sniffling, and he's like, "Bro, they're trying to say we stole the song." I was like, "Ain't no we got."
You took away all responsibility.
Ain't no we, God. It ain't no we. It ain't no we. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon, though.
Featuring Jesus.
It wasn't no we, baby. But they kept saying the group Black Knight. They was like grouping us up. So I was like, but I didn't do no public statement about it because that's my little brother. So I wasn't gonna like, yeah, y'all right, or say anything that was gonna have him looking crazy. I love him to death, so I wasn't gonna do that. But it was looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? We were still performing that junk though. We ain't stopped. You know what I'm saying?
I just looked on YouTube. As of today, it got 3.2 million views off.
Bro, we're viral, guys. We're viral.
It's legit.
And I feel like people don't even know that about that no more. Like people don't even think about that. And shout out to the original TP. He killed it. He's from UK artist. And put your Bible in the busy, whatever. He was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. But yeah, bro, it was a lot of controversy. But we just like, you know, we bless God. I act like it never happened. You know what I mean? People didn't really ask me much questions. Like Rapzilla, they reached out to interview me as well as Brandon, but that was Brandon's song. So I didn't want to like, however he wanted to approach it, like I was gonna have my brother's back. So it didn't matter. But you know what I'm saying? We bless God.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue on this journey.
Yeah.
And we get into the immediate name change.
Yeah.
So Jesus Geek got one album.
Yes.
And a bunch of features. You and Brandon did a lot of music together during that time.
Yeah.
And then you get to the name change.
Yeah.
It's not Jesus Geek anymore.
No.
It's just the initials. It's just JG.
JG.
JG can stand for Jesus Geek. It can stand for Justin Goss, but it's just JG across the board.
Yeah.
What was the reason for the name change?
So like honestly, like I started getting like opportunities, right? That felt like, hey, I'm an adult. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like a little kid, Teeny Bopper Youth Ministries forever, if I was gonna be Jesus Geek, right? Like, and I realized that like in the times of Teach Me How to Jerk and all that stuff, like that name works. But when that's over and it's no more Teach Me How to Jerk, and I'm trying to like sing for real and lead worship, I don't want to be like, our worship leader for today is Jesus Geek. That just felt crazy. Yeah. And some dude tried to steal my name too. That was weird. You know who you are again. You remember that?
You know who you are again.
He tried to steal my name, and it made it weird because people started thinking that was me and his and whatever. So I just was like, you know what? I thought about just doing my name, but I've always like hated my name. You know what I'm saying? I've always just like Justin. I just always just felt like it didn't look like me. I went to interviews and they'd be like, Justin. I look more like a Brandon or something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so I just was like, I didn't like my name, so I was like, let's just do the initials, right? And because it felt like a nickname, and I never ever had a nickname. Like we tried for a while, we tried J Dog. You know what I'm saying? That didn't work. My cousins was roasting me like J Dog. What's up, J Dog? It wasn't working. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't fit you.
We're not from LA. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't working. J Dog wasn't working. So we so I just went. I was like, hey, I feel like it sounds cooler. I'm just gonna do JG. Like I just felt like it felt cooler and it can last forever. That's how I kind of approached it.
Definitely. So name change, more mature, music start to change. You still got a little bit of rapping.
Yeah.
But you got a little bit more singing.
Yeah.
When we get into this album now.
Yeah.
My Story.
Yes.
Now this is the album right here.
Yeah, this is the one.
Now, whoever did the artwork.
Oh yeah.
Now him.
Yeah.
You should hire him.
Yeah, he killed that. He killed that.
That right there. I think on this one, if I remember correctly from us having conversations, you gave him full creative freedom.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Do what you want.
And I'm going to take it. And he put in some time.
Yes, he did.
The booklet.
Yeah.
All of everything. I mean, you guys still have the album.
Yeah.
Just delete the number off of that.
Yeah. But that boy put his phone number on that.
Hey, okay. Bleep that one out. Bleep that one out. You still got that artwork and you call me. You know what I'm saying? No problem. But
yeah.
Now you get into My Story.
Yeah.
And you kind of like change the direction a little bit. Still produced by Brandon.
Yep.
Who did a phenomenal job on this production. You have more custom beats on this one.
Yes.
And it really is just different. So let's just talk about how did that album come about? So
transitioning out of Jesus Geek, it was no more Joey. Not no more, like he passed away. Shout out to my boy Joey. You feel me? Sweet Tooth Academy. You feel me? But anyway, so I transitioned. I just was like, you know, as we finished up that project, which was like heavy freestyle. Like I freestyled every song on Paradox Experience. He just played the beat and I just started singing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was. Or I wrote the rapping. It was still trash, but shout out to me trying to rap. I just wanted to be hit. You feel me? Yeah. I never could rap, but we could freestyle in the car and listen to battle rap. But that was the most I could do. You feel me? And so like moving on to the Story album. I remember it started with the song "The Story," and I never forget creating that record. And I didn't have a hook at first. All I had was verses. And Brandon, oh my gosh, he sent me, hello to y'all, how y'all doing? I'm brand new, he made me different. They try to write me out and change my story. but I got one thing to say. You can't write it for me. I said Brandon is different.
Fire.
Oh my God. I was
Fire.
like, Brandon is different.
Fire.
And he was singing on that joint. And cause it's my story. Like, it was so fire. Brandon killed that. And I really felt like I felt like it was time. Like when we started putting that album together, and I was like, bro, it is absolutely like time. And it was like, and then I had my big feature on that from my boy Million. Shout out to my boy Keenan. We had Good Times, and I felt like I was trying to be Drake to the T. Hello to y'all. Oh, no, wrong song. Good night trials and good morning, good time. Somebody call JJ because we about to have a good time.
You had some fire on this
bro,
album,
yes, bro. And I had my first
fire
feature.
on this album.
I had my first feature with my wife on it too. That Joy Would Come in the Morning. And that was a big transitional song for me too, especially coming from like Let Go My Ego, right? Which was like my first like big song. My ego, super Look At Me Now. You know what I'm saying? Like heavy Look At Me Now vibe.
That song was fire though.
Yeah.
I remember we had to change that song before you dropped the album because you made the song and you dropped the album like a year or so later.
Yes.
So we had to change like a lyric because Steve Nash was
yeah.
I never got my writing credit for that, so I'll send you this.
Because I'll never leave the sun like Steve Nash. He was like, bro, we got to change it. He's not on it. Oh, that's crazy. You remember that? What's your bad memory? I can't believe you remember that.
I remember that because I never got my writing credit.
No pub. But no, so, man, I created some of like, to be honest, that was my first time also like writing the songs, right? Like, I remember talking to some of my industry friends that I got to meet for my first project because you could hear potential. Bruce was like, bro, if you just write though. And I felt a little exposed. And like, what you mean? He's like, bro, I can tell you're just freestyling. But take your time, pen the song, have intention with it, right? Yeah. And I still was like getting through to have my song Scream. Scream was on there, right? Which was on my first project as well. But then I redid
potential in them.
Yeah, I redid those songs. So I brought back "Rockin' My Way to Heaven," which was like one of my dopest songs that we did live. It was crazy. It was so dope. Yeah. And so yeah, man, like that process of that project was so dope. Me and Brandon were like still like so innocently working. Like it was just like, let's cook. You know what I mean? It wasn't like stressful money and all that kind of stuff that comes with it, right? And there should be a cost associated with it, but like it wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, let's cook, pull up, like we work together, like this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Father, that's a bug.
I saw that dragon.
Got him. All right, here we go.
Back to it.
Yeah. So yeah, like working on that project with Brandon was dope. Writing, everything was fire, and it felt like I felt like an artist finally. Like, I just felt like I was joking around, and I know that I could, like, perform and minister. Like, I didn't have an issue with that. And especially with the songs that I had was all hype, and that's what I was trying to rap. Oh, I love that gospel. Oh, no. That's a story. That's a story. So anyway, I don't even remember most of those songs on Paradise Experience. It's so old, bro. It's like, yeah, it's old. What's that, 2013? Like, it's old.
12.
Yeah, 2012. That's
your first debut album, 2012.
That's crazy. Yes. Shout out to the mixtape. We released that joint at the Crump event.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. It was messy too.
Histories.
Yeah, shout out to the event.
So let's keep going on your journey.
Let's keep on
your journey. So we got the introduction here, and this album is really like the introduction to RPSMG.
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Come on.
You got it tatted so you know it's real.
Yeah, you know it's real.
You still got it showing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's real.
That's great.
That's
great history.
All of them were featured on this story. On this featured on the album, The Story.
Yes.
And then you guys eventually came out with a mixtape. Let's just talk about how did you guys come together?
Yeah.
Obviously, you and Brandon was in there.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, you got Mission, you got Excellence, and you got
KAG.
KAG. I was going to mess his name up. You got KAG. Once again, you got KAG.
Yeah.
So you got KAG. Y'all got a group. Y'all together. So how did that come about?
Yeah. So initially, like me and Brandon, we felt we was in our bag, right? We just like, man, we are killing it. And my brother Jarrell and Romel and them. Shout out to J. Christ Remnant, you feel me? That really put us on. They really put us on. They had a group. So my brother Jarrell and Romel had a group called J. Christ Remnant, and I just felt like man, me and Brandon is in our bag. It's my little brother, like kind of best friend vibes, right? Like, and we cooking, right? And he's also going crazy himself. So I'm like, bro, with your influence and like my relationship skills, like we should like start a group, like, and not like necessarily a group. Like I had this idea that like you drop a song, you drop a song, you drop a song, then we drop a project. You drop an album, you drop an album, drop it, and we drop, right? And like, and we can like build up off each other, right? That would help us just go crazy. And so I mentioned the idea to him. He was like in his bag at that point, so he kind of was like not really rocking with like starting a group. And then I just was like, bro, like I honestly just kept begging him. And then I had met Tone at an event, you know, shout out to Mission, you feel me? I met Mission at an event, and he was like, bro, I met him, and it's easy for me to build friendships, honestly. But the day after we did a concert together, we talked on the phone the next day forever. That sound kind of paused, but you feel me? Yeah. We was vibing, and we built a friendship right away. And he was dope. He had the song, and he said, "I'm forward focused." I thought he was fire, dope rapper, right? I don't even remember the song. We have this controversy between us. I say he DM'd it to me, but he said he didn't. But you DM'd it to me. But anyway. He probably did. I don't want to play you, but anyway. Yeah. So Mission. So I connected with him, and then I knew Excellence because he went to church, a church that we would go to all the time. We go to their youth group and perform and all that stuff. And he was a rapper, and he also played flute, you feel me, or trumpet. He played trumpet and all the stuff. And so he was a dope rapper. And then I believe Mission introduced Kenny, or either X introduced Kenny. And so I brought the idea to Brandon. We kind of formulated the concept of what we were going to be called, and we just kind of stamped it. And we started. We did the first song on the Story Project. What was the name of the song? Holy Ghost Party.
Yes, that's where
that did not age well. Yeah. Yes. And so everybody but Kenny. I don't think Kenny was on that. I think Kenny has some production credits on it too.
Yes, he did have production credits on that album.
Yeah. So Kenny. So we did that song. Song was fire, and that was like the start. And so we had a big meeting one day because like we had this group, but we wasn't doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And so it was at X's house, and I just was like, bro, we gotta go crazy. I was like giving the concept of the first song. I'm like, man, we got the intro. It's gonna be like, tonight we are young, and I gave him the vision. I don't want to like over big up myself, but I like explained that, and it got kind of like hyped up the idea, and then we just start cooking. We did a whole album in like 2-3 weeks, the entire thing.
It was fire.
Starting 5.
Hey, starting 5. I looked at that artwork earlier today. Put the Dream Team on there. Dream Team was on the artwork.
Yes.
Go ahead, put that artwork up real quick.
Real talk. Put that artwork up.
Like that was fire.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Just that time was just dope because everybody was just, and I gotta be honest with you, like y'all know we grew up together, we rocking. But Excellence was my favorite.
Yeah, I know he was.
My favorite at the time.
I know he was.
We still made music, bro.
Yes.
But yeah, he was my favorite. Now I gotta say, still be Mission is.
Yes, Mission is
top 3, and he ain't 3.
Yes,
R2.
Yes, Mission's his favorite artist. I'm a little jealous, but we can talk about that later.
Mission number 1, but
yes,
y'all was cooking.
Yes,
and as y'all dropped the mixtape. The mixtape was fire.
Yeah.
I remember doing all the photo shoots on Mare Island, which was being hecka illegal.
Hecka illegal.
Hey, Mare Island had some of the most fire locations.
Real talk.
Like
we shot so much dance up over there, crump stuff.
Hey, we did so much illegal activity. They trashed it. They
it's all down. You can't shoot nothing over there.
And then during this process, you came out with Pursue Happiness.
Yes.
So just continue to go with the journey with the albums.
Yes.
You dropped the mixtape with RPSMG.
Yes.
And y'all dropped the deluxe edition.
Yes. Fire. We set the world on fire.
It was like a 4 or 5 banger on
Real talk. I'm a toot the team up. That toot is crazy. But I'm gonna hype the team up. When I tell you
I'm gonna toot it up.
I'm gonna toot it up.
I'm gonna toot it up for him.
No. Bro, we set the template for all of these groups, bro. All of these groups. And I will live and die on that hill, right? Because we literally had an incredible format, and we was really booming, you know what I mean? And so shout out to Brandon and Kenny producing all those records, because we was on the road like right away. and we had crazy momentum. So I don't want to leave that moment without saying that. That's a flex, and I'm not trying to super flex, but I feel like
that's a worth it flex.
Yeah,
that's a worth it flex right there.
Yeah.
So then you drop The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh yeah.
And that album, I just listened to the entire thing today.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And it was a fire album. And
Bro.
You're still JG at this point.
Yep.
But during the intro, this is where it's RPSMG.
Yep.
It's JG.
Yep.
And Red Letter.
Yes.
The band.
Yes.
So this is it's like in the middle of a transition right here. You got you got yourself, you got RPSMG, you got your band, you got Red Letter rocking.
Yeah.
And just talk about the process through The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah. So The Pursuit of Happiness, I think to this date is still my best album. I think it's my best album. Maybe debatable with the JJ Red Letter album, but I think this is like my best project that I put out.
Yeah.
Man, that process was dope. It was like a weird place too, because like I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later as far as like why I had all these names, and why I was like always associated with people, but I always wanted to have my own band, right? I just wanted to be like, hey, we locked in. You know how I roll. Like, I don't want to have multiple graphic designers. I just want to have one. I don't want to hit, this person does this.
Oh, by the way, by the time you got to The Pursuit of Happiness, that wasn't me.
Yeah, that was the first time he was out of there. Sorry, Taylor.
Just gotta say, it was cool.
Shout out to Taylor.
Everybody got a character except me. It was cool. It's cool. I thought I was on the team.
Shout out to Taylor. But yeah, so we long story short, that was like a confusing time because I started my band Red Letter. We were in RPSMG, and RPSMG was being labeled like a group, but we were a music group, right? Yeah. Rock Paper Scissors was a music group, so it was like not in the sense of music group, like more like a label type of vibe instead of like an actual group. And because we presented together, like that's how it was looking. And so like we would have like conflict, especially like Mission was like, let's just be a group, you know what I mean? And I was like, nah. So I'm about to have Red Letter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like, and it wasn't like crazy controversy, and me and Tony has always been super tight regardless. But the with that we had to figure out like how it was gonna mesh and how it was gonna work. And so like I had my own internal struggles because I'm a people pleaser and I wanted everybody to be okay with everything that I was doing. But putting a band together, bro, oh my goodness. When it was at this time it was just the actual instrumentation band, and bro, it was amazing, bro. It was amazing. And so I had only one plan, and that was to succeed with this band. I wanted to be like, you know what I mean? Be like everyone who I see, like Ty Tribbett and Soundcheck. You know what I'm saying? Soundcheck was the name of his band, and that's how I wanted Red Letter to be. And bro, it was fire. Pursuit of Happiness, bro. The album release concert. I mean, I never had a bad album release concert, and I'm thankful, right? And I always play it safe. I did it at my church, so everybody gonna show up. So it's not much to it. We do it at your church. You know what I'm saying? Everybody support. But it was something about that one that felt like it changed the game for me. You know what I mean? It changed the game for me. Yeah. That I never forget it. I did a big announcement concert announcing the band, and then I did the album release concert like weeks after, and it was still like packed out like crazy. You know what I mean?
And I want to say with every album, and this is what technically album 4.
Yes.
Because you got Paradox Experience, you got the story, you got the mixtape with RPSMG.
Yeah.
And now you're at Pursuit of Happiness, and now you've grown over so many years.
Yeah.
Now you're not rapping as much. You don't have so much youth ministry music.
Yeah.
You're kind of growing now in this phase of Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
Getting your live music with your band.
Yeah. And
now you're dropping more of the singing. Now you're developed more as an artist, as a writer.
Yeah.
And you're creating stories in your music.
Yeah.
Now you got storylines in your music.
Yes.
Music that has meaning behind it. It's not just, I'm turned up for the church.
Yeah.
I'm turned up for the youth. I'm turned up for the performance. Now it's like, no, this is music. And it started with the story. If you get
yes.
The story really started with you telling your story.
Yeah.
And now you get into Pursuit of Happiness, and Prescription was, top 10.
Oh my God.
Even though you didn't spell prescription right on the first word. But shout out to Ricky J, because he definitely corrected. Was like, hey, bro, y'all did not spell prescription right. That is the wordsmith right there. He definitely blasted us on that one. Shout out to Ricky J.
Shout out to Ricky J.
I didn't do artwork for that though.
Yeah, he did. Ooh,
that's why I got fired. That's why I got fired.
Real.
But now we get into, again, RPSMG was the music group, and for context, even going forward with that was being a music group. It was more like a label. It wasn't a group.
Yeah.
Music group as a label like MMG. Like,
yes.
CMG.
Yeah.
Like I was about to say Bad Boy.
No, did it?
No, did it? Like Death Row.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a label. It's what represented you guys. But there was some confusion in there. So what would you say led to the fallout? Because eventually,
let's talk about it.
We gotta get there. It's part of the journey.
Let's talk. It's my turn.
It's part of the journey.
They talked about it. Do you feel me? They didn't do the whole thing. It's my turn, baby.
Go for it.
It's all my fault. I'm just playing. So to be honest, and I'm grateful that we're all for the most part in a good space, but it was kind of centered around me and Brandon. Like Brandon, I wanted to son him forever. Like that's just the reality. The reality is like that same person that played me that beat in the car, I wanted to continue to treat him that way, right? And it wasn't like any crazy mistreatment, right? Initially, right? It got a little wild, you know what I'm saying? So I could be I'm slick with it, you feel me, in front of Bay. And so, long story short, Brandon started to blow up, right? And he started producing and working for other people. And I wanted that same attention that I felt like he gave other people. And so I started being like mad about it, you know what I'm saying? And like finding ways to be like, don't forget that I did this, right? Like I helped you with this, and my project is I just started doing that to him. And I know that it started to make our relationship feel very one-sided because for him, he's like, I'm still doing this production for you and I'm not really charging you. You know what I'm saying? And in my head, I'm like, you better not ever charge me. You feel me? Because this is what I've done for you. So our relationship started going sour because in the group, like I had this mindset, like I started this thing, I put this all together. And how you acting like you in interviews talking about my group and you doing all this, it should be us, right? And I was like getting super offended. I would be taking certain things out of context and certain things that was being said that I wasn't rocking with, you know what I'm saying? And so fast forward, one day I was talking to this dude right out the side of my neck, and he had like mentioned one thing that Brandon had said. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna cook him. I'm like, that's why his dad paid me to hang out with him. Which is not true.
I remember that.
Which is not true. His dad gave me gas because I was broke to get to the studio. You know what I'm saying? So I just flexed on him. You feel me? And I said that to other people in the group, like because I was like feeling myself, and I wanted them to feel like I was the big dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the big dog. I'm put this thing together. Like it was my pride. And so it got presented to Brandon of what I said, like it got all the way back in him through the group. And we had this meeting, and it was so funny. I brought my manager. It was some love and hip hop type vibe. We sit down, we're at Brandon's house, and I'm over here. Well, I can't cross my legs. I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. But we're having whatever, Taylor. So we're sitting down having a conversation, and they kind of presented it to me. They all kind of said their piece, and it just felt like, I just felt like I was like lightweight blindsided, but I went there like I'm finna quit. So like, I'm finna quit, you know what I mean? And we'll see how this goes, you feel me? Because I'm really him, like my pride, right? And my manager's like, be humble, like everybody's, and I'm with my pastor, right, Pastor John, and he's like all of our, Pastor John is our people. So it's not like, shout out to Pastor John, but he's like our people. So it's not like, I just brought this random pastor that they don't know. Like it's Pastor John, and so fast forward, they all kind of brought their stuff and said their stuff to me or whatever the case may be. And I just was like, all right, cool, I quit. Like, I'm done. I'm just going to do Red Letter. I quit. I'm not going to be in the group no more. And I knew when I was going that I was going to quit. I just was like, I had so many opportunities. I'm getting ready to go on the Guys Not Dead tour. Like, I quit. I'm not doing this group, and I'm cool, right? Yeah. And when I left, I felt so guilty, and I knew they were kind of thrown off guard because they kind of just wanted to call me out, or I didn't know what the expectation was. But my quitting partly was like, y'all not gonna kick me out, I'm gonna quit. You feel me? So like, before you think you're gonna kick me out of something that I believe I started, like you're not gonna, I'm gonna quit. You know what I mean? Before y'all have some upper hand on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that like, I wish I would have just humbled myself instead of just like, oh, Brandon, you said, and that one time, remember y'all did this that one time. And so then after I quit, they put out another album, and I was hating, but it was fire. Put out another album. I was on the first song of it, and I wasn't on anything more. And I kept relationships with everyone else for the most part, but me and Brandon like almost completely fell out. at that point. And he was always my brother, but like we didn't have no good blood, and I didn't. I just was like, bro, like you said this, and y'all all just came at me. And it took me a while to take responsibility. Like I was big bro until I start acting like little bro. And I wasn't doing big bro things. Big bro pulls little bro to the side and have a conversation instead of like trying to act like big dog to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing. Man, Brandon, you know what I used to do, bro? He didn't have no swag into me. I was saying like all these things that like, he like, this is my big brother talking like that to me. He ain't nothing to me no more. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you add pops in it. And that's the truth. Like, they never busted that out. And they could have. They could have said, Justin said this, and maybe look crazy because that would have. But I'd rather, you know what I'm saying? And so thank you guys for covering me in that. You feel me? But yeah, so the group breaking up in total ain't my fault because everybody was crooked.
Just your fault.
My fallout had more to do with me and less to do with others as far as my level of accountability. The group falling apart is a whole nother conversation. I would love to sit down and us all talk about it. You know what I mean? And we did try to rekindle it a bunch of times, but bruhs just ain't rocking it. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. And everybody just kind of on their same on different pages and like doing their own thing, and it's cool. But I'm grateful that for the most part I'm reconciled. And relationships ain't perfect because I think after a while it's like we grown. I ain't really fooling like that, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'll forever be close with Tone. So shout out to Mission. But everyone else, we have a good relationship, and I'm grateful for it. You know what I'm saying? But that really like it broke my heart, especially after I took responsibility and I just wanted to fix it. I wish I could have just reversed it, but in a reverse Uno card in life, like I just had to accept that this is where it is, and hopes for one day that it'd be cool. But I love all my brothers. Love you guys.
Respect. Yeah. So this gets into technically another name change.
Yes.
This leads us
along
the journey. To name change number, whatever number we at at this point in time. We got JG and Red Letter. It's official name on iTunes. So it's legit. And then you come out with an album with JG and Red Letter.
Fire.
It is a fire album. It almost sounded like a diss record. Let's get to it. I mean, RPS and G, I quit. JG Red Letter, no longer alone.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
We get into it. We get into it.
So I did so many things, and I will bust myself out instantly. You know that about me, Tay. It was not even at all the thought. And I did a few things. When I did the big, some crawling on me, praise God. But when I did my big announcement concert, I said something that offended RPSMG, and I didn't realize it wasn't intentional. Right? I just was trying to big up the band. I was like, I finally got my band, I got my brothers. And it was like, wait, you finally got what? Like, who are we? Chopped liver, right? So brothers was like offended, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't mean it. But after you done talk mess and you did all this, and like mess starts to get around, this is before we broke up. It's like, bro, like, what do you mean, gang? Like, you did mean that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see your actions are really lining up with what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't acting like a brother running your mouth about your brother to people that ain't a part of the brotherhood. You feel me? Yeah. And so, like, I get that. And so when I did No Longer Alone, it was like, I got my band. Because my dream is to be, like I said, Ty Tribbett, Kirk Franklin. We got Soundcheck. We got Kirk's band who've been playing with him since whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got my Goss property. You feel me? Like, and that's how I processed it. Like, because RPSMG wasn't a group. Yeah. We were like a label vibe. Yeah. You feel me? Gotcha. But this is my group. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant. People took it that way, and I was like, and I'm usually really intentional about, like, if I'm gonna throw shade or I have something to say, like, you gonna know what's up. I'm not good at being subliminal. I gotta just be up front. You feel me? And I'm not acting like I'm the realest bro in the world. Like, I ain't doing that, but I'm just saying I'm not that slick that I'm gonna say No Longer Alone and it's a shot at them, because Tone was on my album. You know what I'm saying? Brandon was at my album release. Excellence was at my album release. Like, we was still cool up until that point, for real. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, Brandon for sure. Brandon, and it just like came back to me. So it wasn't like, I'm no longer alone because I'm not with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have nobody, but y'all was with, you know, it wasn't like that.
So let's talk about that album, that process with JG and Red Letter. Just going through the mindset coming into this. Now you're like 100% singing on almost every track.
Every track, no rap.
You got Vince, you got Janae, you got the team now.
Yeah.
And now not just a band, you got other people singing and rapping on the record with you. So you got that support there. And I know you mentioned you wanted that family.
Yeah.
Right? So now you got more family added.
Yes.
You went from RPSMG to Red Letter. You got a group.
Yeah.
You're still rocking. Like, just go through that process.
Yeah, so that was dope, bro. I met Vince at a youth conference that you put on. Come on, Pastor Taylor. You feel me? At the Remnant.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I met him at Remnant, which was fire. Taylor used to bring me every year. We would shut it down every year.
Hey, you know, Remnant, not to get
talk that talk, yeah.
Hey, Remnant was legit.
It was legit. Talk to me nice. Man. It was legit. I'm talking about equally as fun as Holy Spirit led, bro. And a lot of events don't got the equal. It'd be like, oh, we just turned up. This event was holyspirit.com, you feel me? And still lit.
We was breaking barriers.
What?
We had a youth and young adult retreat.
Yes.
That functioned and was successful,
bro,
for years.
Yeah, some kids might have been smoking weed, but we don't gotta talk about that.
I mean, you ain't gotta throw the. I'm saying, you gotta walk with your brother. Go ahead and bring him to the side and prove it. You know, put it out on YouTube. Okay?
No Matthew 18 just now. You know what I'm saying?
No, we,
yeah,
this is youth and young adult retreat. You all have your different things, but even like in how we led through all those things.
Amazing.
And beyond that, it was an amazing experience. We had people all from Sacramento to the Bay Area come out, different youth groups, different churches, different denominations coming together and worshiping God under one roof.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was some good
times. I'm gonna send you a clip to post. Oh, I got a clip in my phone. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you. We gotta post it.
I mean,
oh my God.
All right, so let's get back to it. You met Vince. Y'all connected. Red Letter. Y'all popping.
Yes. Yeah. So I met Vince at Remnant, and God gave me a vision and a dream, and I shared it with him, and he was on one accord with me. And then my cousin Janae, the same thing. That's my cousin. Yeah. So my god cousin, not my blood cousin. So we grew up in church together, and her family is my family. As far as all that, and so I reached out to her, and it was like match made in heaven. It's my favorite little cousin. So I'm like, let's cook. You know what I'm saying? And I started the project by myself. I already had songs already going. And so I had like Just Dancing, and that was on that song was hard with my boy Jordan.
That song went viral. Right
it did. Shout out to Keita the Great. We did the little dance video. That was fire. And so like, that was dope. And so I already had some songs already. And so shout out to the producers on there. My boy Goss produced and mixed on there. So shout out to him from Vegas. KG produced Just Dancing. He produced like a bunch of records. I think he produced No Longer Alone. He produced that track, yeah. Dope. And so he produced a bunch on that album, and it was so dope how it came together and us working together. And even I wrote a song called Good Enough with my sister, and that was fire. You definitely know who you are, sis.
I mean, just re-drop the song.
Oh, I'm gonna redo it.
It's a timeless
I gotta redo
record.
It.
Like something I talk about with Mission all the time, but same with you. You have timeless records.
Thank you, brother.
Like records that's not just for that time that you made it in, but like Good Enough is a song that you can listen to. That when I heard it today, I was just like, man, it brought back memories from listening to it when you first dropped it.
Yeah.
But how relatable is that song even today?
Yeah.
And how many of our youth are going through those different things?
Yes.
To hear that and be like, I am good enough.
Yeah.
Like God, I'm good enough because God said I'm good enough.
That's bro.
He died on the cross because I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And really being able to grasp that. And that's the ministry that comes and the growth.
Yeah.
That we talked about earlier just in your music. And your music is your ministry.
Yeah.
And like how you've grown through that. Like that's a redo it.
Bro, I'm gonna redo that, bro. You know what song I'm gonna redo as well? I'm gonna redo Can I Have This Dance? I called a request. When it's all alone and it all fades, I want you to see the smile in my eye. That song was hard.
You ain't gotta redo it.
Huh?
Don't redo it.
Just re-release it?
Just re-release it. It's nothing to be redone. You've already done it. It's done. It's timeless as is.
Yeah.
Now you can go perform it and do some extra keys and
yeah.
But as is, it's timeless in and of itself.
Yeah, so so like I said, like, and we had some different variations. We had some like other people in the group, like at the beginning when I was first starting it, and then it kind of reduced down just to me, Vince, and Janae, and it was up, bro. Like I mean, we came together, and and did requests, and I did most of the writing, and then we started writing together because I just was like, hey, I started getting so much better at writing that I was like, hey, I'll write all the songs. I never wrote anybody's raps because I really can't rap in real life, but and so Vince was writing his own parts, but all the singing stuff I was penciling and I was writing, and that's when I just was like, bro, I just knew I knew that we was about to blow up for Jesus. Like I knew it when we dropped Highway. I just was like, oh, we're about to break the internet. You know what I'm saying? Before even that, when we dropped A1, whole team A1, check the stakes.
I mean, just at this point in time, I mean, we could just redrop it out. The album is still available.
Yes, it is.
Go back, listen to it.
It's a good
Highway
album.
was fire.
Yeah.
A1 fire. Wild Boy fire.
Yeah.
Just Dancing fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
yeah,
fire moment right there.
Yeah,
fire moment. So you spoke about how you had some different group members in the beginning. It ended up being with Janae and Vince.
Yeah.
And then eventually there was a fallout.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. It was that was a really tough one for me. There were songs. I wrote the song called "This Ain't One," and it was a dig. I was talking to a big Christian artist who I won't say his name because I'm not really like tight with him like that.
Yeah.
But at the time I was, and he just was like, bro, groups don't work. Like you're trying to do this group thing, bro. Like you're crazy. Like people don't have budget for new bands. Like you're trying to like go crazy and get booked and like have a sustainable living for your family. Like, bro, people ain't trying to like, you ain't gonna be this next da 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 da. And I just was like, what? Like I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but this ain't one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just was like, you smoking crack, my boy. We finna go crazy. And then when it fell apart, bro, it was treacherous, and it was like it was a lot of miscommunication, and I think that was the biggest part. Like the way that I can explain it was just miscommunication, and miscommunication can ruin everything, especially like uncommunicated expectations. And I think the big failure on mine is I was trying to live my dream with people, right? And it's not that you can't live your dream with people, but I feel like I kind of turn people into pawns, a part of like my ultimate dream. You know what I'm saying? And I realize it now. But if you would have told me in that moment, I would have been just so defensive. Like I gave everyone this opportunity, and I was already up, and I brought everybody in my thing, and then now because they all quit. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like me quitting on them; they all quit on me, and not the musicians. It was mainly Vince and Janae, right? And I'm so grateful that it happened, and that's not sublime or whatever, because me and Vince just led worship last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, right. And so like, and it's good. And me and my cousin is good. I started working on her project. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, it's good. But I realized, and I can't wait to keep going further on in our conversation about like some of the why. But the reality is that I was trying to make people fit my dream and just get people to conform to everything I wanted to do. And after a while, people feel boxed in and like forced, especially when things start coming up, right? Especially when like failures start coming up, and it's like, hey, are you supposed to follow every word that I say? But I'm not following every word that I say. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's hard to follow a leader who is just like being wishy-washy. And I know that I wasn't trying to, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to like execute and do dope things, but they can feel on the other side that I just wanted to do my own thing, but with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I was afraid to be by myself.
That's good. So what do you mean by that? This just a bonus question. Why were you afraid to be by yourself? It's part of your journey.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I never felt good enough. Right? I always felt good, but I never felt, especially like in some foster care rooms and that I always felt like I would always be the foster boy. Right? So like there's that like nagging thing in me that I fight daily to this day that says, Justin, you're only good if Taylor's with you. Like here goes a big transition and conversation that I had with my brother Antoine. Shout out to Antoine. Is when he went on, I'm gonna cry. When he went on America's Best Dance Crew. And that was so fire. That was a moment in itself, right?
Shout out to him.
He left us. He left us like
all love.
He left us like
that's my brother.
He left us like the dude did the kids on Jurassic Park. He just got out and ran to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh because I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was that part.
You made. All right, so when he came back and he was like famous in the city.
Yeah, definitely.
I was on his hip.
Now,
every day.
I'm agreeing.
Yes, I know what you mean. No, but I was on his hip. because I wanted to be associated with greatness because I can never see my own. And if I can be associated with Antoine and all of his greatness, then everyone is gonna think I'm great too. I never forget they went on like this Chinese channel thing, right? And they were like doing like right, that thing, right? And I wanted to be like, say, Antoine, say my name, because I didn't feel good. I drove my brother there. I'm playing a role. But I want to be on TV, and I want you to just say my name. If you would just say, my boy Justin is here, then I'll be good. So I spent my whole entire career trying to figure out who I am and over associating myself with people just so I could finally feel good enough. And so I did that with, Brandon, let's start a group with RPSMG so that we can do all these things. And honestly, what I was really saying is, if you drop, then you drop, then you drop, then you drop, and then I drop, and I'm on all y'all projects and we going up, I'm going to get bigger. And then we keep going, and then I'm going to keep giving out, because I feel like I can't just be good enough by myself. The gift that God has given me, the opportunities that God has given me is not good enough for me to handle. I need to be associated with someone, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a band. There's nothing wrong with having a group. But my intentions were wrong. And they weren't evil, but they were wrong because I was trying to, what's the word? I was really trying to fill a hole that only Jesus could fill, but I was trying to fill it with everyone else.
Yeah.
I did that with Triple Threat. I want to go to everything. What y'all wearing? All right, let me see if I can get me a green jacket. Me and I had the green jacket fit. I'll never forget it. Right? That jacket was fire.
I damn near got all our fits still. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right? Yeah. And I was looking all over trying to find the same jacket because I just didn't want to be with my bros. I wanted to be one of the bros. I wanted everyone to mention me too. And so because I never felt good enough, that I need a band, I need a group. And so after the group broke up, bro, I was depressed, bro. Yeah. Crying every single day. My kids are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay." I was so grateful that in that season that I was a pastor and I was in a position where I had time to grieve, and my pastor at the time gave me time to grieve, but I was grieving for a long time and had a lot of resentment. And it was hard for me to do music because I couldn't imagine my life or me outside of a group. And I remember talking to Mission, and he's like, "Bro, you not no group, bro. You keep trying to do a group." And he didn't know why I kept trying to do a group, and nor did I. I just was like, "We gonna be lit," because I don't want to stand on the stage by myself. And that's not like prideless, right? Like that's just me like trying to hide out front. And so now I'm in a position where I love who I am. Like, and I might not look the best I gain this weight, praise God.
We're not there yet.
We bless God, right?
We're not there.
But I love who I am. So anyway, we're gonna cook. Let's go.
Yeah. And this leads to prior to you getting to where you are now. Mm-hmm. It's another name change. At this point in time,
yes.
You are in the witness protection program.
Yeah.
You've changed your name. You've changed your group.
Yes.
You've changed your association.
Yeah.
But I would say this is your coming out of a witness protection program. Kind of like a segue to what you just said.
Yes.
Like you've been trying to hide in the front all this time.
Yeah.
And now God has called you out of that.
Yeah.
And now you've embraced Justin Goss.
Yes.
So now when you Google Justin Goss, or you search Justin Goss on iTunes, you find your music. You find a lot of your more recent music as well.
Yeah.
What was that transition in like finding yourself out of Red Letter and not following, but coming to Justin Goss?
I just was like, bro, like, my name is all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, my name is all right. It's enough. Like, I knew I wasn't going to go back to just being JG. That just felt like weird. And it was like kind of triggering the fact that the group didn't work. Yeah. And I just felt like I felt like the silent I told you so's and the like giggles, and I was embarrassed. And I just was like, you know what, trick it, bro. I'm just gonna be my name. And when I first started, it wasn't revealed like I love who I am. Like it wasn't that yet on the journey. It was more just like I'm just gonna be my name, gang. Like I'm just gonna be my name, bro. Justin Goss will be good enough. I can't just go by Justin because you'll never find my music, right? Like, because you got Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, on Mount Justmore. You know what I'm saying?
All of Justin.
Yeah, and so I just was like, I'm just gonna be my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna hide behind an alias. I'm just gonna be me now. And I knew that it was gonna be difficult. That's why I like released so much music when I released that like Here Goes My Name.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah.
My handy dandy notebook.
Yeah.
From 2019 to 2021, you dropped 12 total singles.
Yeah.
All under Justin Goss.
Yeah.
And it was just most of that was in 2020.
Yes.
Right before the pandemic and all that.
Yeah.
Right, like at the heart of the pandemic.
Yes. Yeah.
And you dropped, I want to say 10 songs.
Yeah.
During that time, but you didn't drop an album. What was the purpose behind that? I know you kind of just alluded to it.
Yeah. I just was like, hey, like if you're gonna find me, I want you to like find my name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just was like, hey, and like also Russ, shout out to Russ, the rapper, whatever. Yeah. He's like, man, you should really. I release a mixtape every day type vibe, and I just was like, all right, we gonna try to blow this thing up, right? I'm gonna just put out so much music, right, that you can't help but to stand like, okay, let's just adjust. He's Justin Goss. That's how we have to find him. No more JG. And so I just was like, I was releasing a song every week. I did like 9 weeks straight. Yeah. It didn't really blow up like I thought it would, but it still did pretty well. Pretty well.
It was fire music though.
Yeah.
You could still put that together and that could be a compilation album.
Yeah. 2020. I'm going to.
But then, give me my credit.
Yeah.
Besides that, mm-hmm. you dropped those 10 songs and you feature on a couple of other ones there mm-hmm. in between, and then you went silent.
Yes.
Like there was like a fell off the side of the earth.
Yes.
What was the silence? Why did you go silent?
One thing that we're missing a little bit, even within JG and Red Letter, all the way up into that summer, is that I finally was pastor, right? So I got ordained to be a pastor.
I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, and so that was my issue, right? My issue was I did not know how to be both. So that as I am on this journey of like, all right, I'm just gonna be Justin Goss, but then it's like I feel weird. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a part of artistry that is like performing and all of that stuff. Yeah. And I struggled with attempting to be both. And I had a lot of like guilt and shame that followed it because I no longer, especially, man, I've been through a lot from my first few albums and I just was serving at church. And then it would be a lot of this like being called out for maybe abusing the platform and like utilizing it for my own selfish gain of like the church platform. And so then I was kind of scarred from that, to be honest. So like when I would release a song, I would almost walk by my pastors to see if like it's approved, and not like any of them disapproved it. I wanted them to over approve it so that I could feel confident in like me continue on to release. And I never felt anyone, you know what I'm saying? I had one of my pastors in a video and you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. So, and I had pastors that were artists before. So like there was never no hate toward it, you know what I mean, from any of my pastors. But I think the scar and the bruise was so deep from the people who actually hurt me. I was close with that kind of like put me in that kind of awkward predicament or called me out about some of the things. It made me so afraid and hesitant. So it was hard to release music because I struggled with that dynamic.
And that was during the year 2020?
Yeah.
So, and even to add to it, for those that don't know, you're married, mm-hmm. have a wife.
Come on now.
Full time.
Feel me?
Father.
Yeah.
Like 100 kids.
4.
Kids.
Don't be making me seem like I'm out here in these streets being dirty.
No, not dirty. He got 4 with his wife.
Yeah.
But I only got 2. That's second kids. Married, father. You got ministry, as you mm-hmm. mentioned. You're a pastor. You're mm-hmm. a worship leader. Through all of this stuff, you're doing so much.
Yeah.
How did that really like impact? What was the balancing like in between that?
Bro, it was no balancing, bro, and that's why I released 9 songs this time, and then I did 3 songs the other time because the reality is I felt so overwhelmed and overcooked because I was so consumed about what people are gonna say or what people think. And because I was overconsumed by what I thought they was going to say or what I thought they were going to think, it always like I would start and then stop. You know what I mean? I would start and then stop. And I just stopped. After the last time I stopped, I just was like, all right. And then I tried to in this last season, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to release music for my church, right? So I was like, all right, so while I was on staff at Project Church. I'm like, we're gonna release a song, and it was again me hiding behind so that I can get the approval of people. Yeah. And they was excited. The song was fire. It's called "Feel Like Favor" by Project Worship or whatever. Fire song, right? But I wanted to put that out myself. Right? I wrote it. It wasn't like the church was like, hey, we need you to write a song. I was like, I got a song I wrote. I'll release it as a church. You guys excited? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, not even the church's swag, right? Like, it's all testimonial. They're more vertical. I'm all like, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like, it's a clash from what they would like normally do, right? I'm sure they'll never put out a song quite like that. And so, long story short, I realized that I released music, but I was hiding. And I just was like, bro, like I can't do that no more. So I started really digging, especially into therapy, right? Of like what's actually happening, because I'm avoiding something, and I don't want to avoid. If I'm done, then I'm done, right? But if I'm done for the sake of what I think people are gonna think, or I think I'm older, right? I felt like the Lord still had more. You know what I mean? In store for what he wanted me to say, how he wanted me to minister, and also utilizing the platform of music for what's the word I'm thinking of? Using the platform of music for not encouragement. What's the word? It's gonna come, Taylor.
You're gonna find it.
Yeah. So using the platform of music for influence, right? And have an opportunity to utilize the platform for a lot of other different things that I want to do outside of music. So I believe that this is sort of like the carrot that draws people in, and I think that there's something else that the Lord is downloading within me so that I can push out and we can change lives for Jesus.
Nice. Yeah. So now we're in 2024.
Yeah.
And this is part of the journey that we're currently at now.
Yeah.
And this is like the reintroduction of Justin Goss.
Yes, sir.
So why now?
Man, what a beautiful question. I'm done hiding. I've been creating music like this whole time. I have my own studio. I've been creating music, and I realized that I was hiding. I was talking about my therapist, and she was like, what are you really afraid of? And I said, I'm afraid that people don't love me no more. And it goes back to that rejected foster kid that is like, I had an uncle tell me to wait after school for your real mom to pick you up. So I'm waiting constantly for someone to rescue me and to say, hey, baby, it's okay. When God has already said it. He's already released it. He's already said, son, it is okay. So I no longer feel the pressure of anybody else or anything else. Not even like the numbers. Like it is what it is. We're going to put out music. We're going to enjoy. And I know I'm on tour again. I know I'm going to do these things again, right? Yeah. And as I stand here as a 36-year-old, like knowing it's up. We just dropping a sample. You know what I'm saying? And we getting ready to go right back to it like we was, but with a different outlook. And there's one thing that is important to me is that now when people see me, right, with somebody, so they see me with you, it's not because I need you. It's because it makes sense. Like having you interview me today, Taylor, makes nothing but sense. Nobody else could interview me today like you would, because as my brother, you have been a part of the entire journey. I'm not trying to like, oh, you Pastor Taylor, again, no, right? And I could have like clouded it up and called and said, hey, we can do an interview with that. I'm not trying to cloud it up. I want to do what absolutely makes sense because I'm not chasing that. I know what's important. I know what I'm called to do, and I'm going to run and I'm going to chase after it because I'm absolutely called to do it.
Dope. So you just dropped a single.
Yes.
Recently just dropped a single on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's I Tried.
Yeah.
A little quick 2-minute little teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser. You know what I'm saying? Hello.
Let's talk about that. What is that song about? What is that reintroduction about?
So it's really about everything we talked about. It's the journey. Is that I tried this my way. Right? Mm-hmm. I tried it my way and it did not work. It had glimpses of opportunity. It had glimpses of like, okay, but it did not work because all of it was my way. And it's not that I was disobedient to God in every step of the way, but a lot of my reasoning and purpose of why I was doing it was wrong. And now it's time to do it God's way. So that the song is really like simply that. Where you tell me to go, I'll go. Where you tell me to move, I'll move. All my life is yours. Yes, it's yours, of course. Where you lead, I follow. Right? And so it's like, yes, I tried, but now I'm going your way. Where you lead, I follow. And so like that's the simple part of the song. I mean, I literally say those words in the song. So it's obvious, but it makes sense of summing up everything that we talked about today is I tried. I tried as Jesus Geek. I tried as JG. I tried as JG and Red Letter. I tried as RPSMG. I tried as Justin Goss. And now I'm trying as like for real. Like this is real Justin Goss. This is Justin Goss. That was a facade. That was JG still, right? That was like, because even when I released all those songs, tell me a song that I released by myself. Not on any of those songs I did not release by myself.
Always had a feature.
Always had a feature. And that's why I say that if you see me with a feature now, it's not because I'm trying to jack off somebody. Pause.
Whoa. Whoa. Hey. I have no parts in any happy ending. Pause.
It's not because I'm trying to steal somebody's swag or be on. Oh, God.
We said it.
We bless God. It's not because I'm trying to steal somebody's swag or hop on somebody's wave, right?
Yeah.
That still feels pause to me. But it's because it makes sense. Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense. And so I'm grateful that like I can release and do things in a space where it's like, it's me, baby. Like this is who I am, and I can look at my kids in their face, and they know that it's their dad being their dad, and I can look at my wife in her face and be like, that's Justin, that's my husband being himself, and I don't have to pretend or put on for nobody or like get permission from the pastor and everyone just like, hey, you should do your album release here. Like I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it God's way, but I'm gonna be myself the entire time. So you're gonna get full range of emotion of how I make music. I'm a worship leader, so I'm gonna make worship music, right? I'm from the Bay, you feel me? So I'm gonna turn up, right? And I'm a singer, so I'm gonna make them ballads, R&B, right? And I'm also emotional, so I'm gonna write those songs. I'm gonna talk about my story, and I'm not gonna keep saying it the same way, right? I'm gonna talk about it different, and sometimes we'll hide the medicine in the candy. So we gonna turn up, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry. And shout out to my boy Johnny, who shoots all the visuals for the most part. Shout out to my boy Abel, who's shooting this today. Yes. And shout out to you. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm ending the whole interview. You got more questions?
No, this is where we leave off.
Yeah.
And this is where we see the journey continue from this point.
Yeah.
Because this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right? This is the reintroduction to Justin Goss. And the journey continues. My God.
My boy. Yes, sir!
Yeah. Hire me.
Yeah.